Hello everyone, welcome to Mastermind. In the previous part, we have discussed about temple architecture in North India. In that, we have discussed about Nagara School of Architecture. And in this part, we'll be discussing about temple architecture in South India. Temple architecture in South India. We'll be discussing about the current affairs related to these as well. But initially, we are discussing about the smaller details, which is the basics of the temple architecture. In case of temple architecture in South India, there are four styles which were developed. First one is Dravidian. First one is Dravidian architecture. The second one is Vesara style. So the third one is Nayaka. And the fourth one is Vijayanagara architecture. So if we discuss about all these four, then whole temple architecture or the styles of temple architecture will be done completely. One note which we have to remember with respect to temple architecture in South India is that instead of temple, they use the word mandapa. Instead of temples, they use the word mandapa. This is especially in the stage 1, that is in the Mahendra group. Wherein we can see there is rock cut architecture. Let us start with the first one, which is Dravidian style. So this is oldest style of architecture. Oldest style of architecture is this Dravidian style. In the previous part, when we were discussing about the temple architecture, which is Nagara style, one most important point which we discussed there was that the Nagara style, you do not find tanks. And there are no boundary walls, especially in case of Nagara style. So the compound walls are not that defined. But in this case, let us draw a Dravidian style architecture over here. First important point itself here is that they had proper compound walls, unlike Nagara style. Okay, but you can see in Nagara style, in Odisha school we had compound walls, but in this case we have compound walls. So the first point itself is there were compound walls. That is, you had proper boundary. And not just that, you had proper entrance as well. Okay, and this is called as a gateway. This is a huge gateway to enter, and this is known as Gopuram. Okay, this is known as Gopuram. That is, it is the entrance towards the temple. Now, this is the temple. That is, initially you'll have the assembly place. You'll have the place you'll assemble. Initially, here this place is the assembly place. I'll write it in red over here. This is the place wherein you assemble. Assembly hall. As soon as you enter, you do not enter the sanctum sanctorum, which is the garbhagriha. And after assembly, you have small entrance over here. Okay, this is the vestibule. And inside this, here you have garbhagriha. Okay, this is Garbhagriha or Sanctum Sanctorum. So you have compound walls, you have Gopuram, then you have assembly halls, and then you have vestibule. Okay, and then inside we have Garbhagriha. Now, when we look at top of the temple, I'll draw it in pink color. Okay, so top of the temple. So this is how it was. And this structure is called as Vimana. So Vimana, whenever you see about Vimana, it is temple architecture of South India in the Dravidian style. You have Dravidian style. And most important point which we forgot, that is, there was tank. There was a presence of tank. That is, compound wall is there, tank is there. Not just that, there are subsidiary shrines as well. There are smaller shrines as well, wherein you can go and worship. So these are small shrines. These are small shrines. So these are small shrines as well. So this is oldest style of architecture. Now Vimana we will draw in pink only over here. How was, or what was the structure of Vimana? Okay, so this is the structure of Vimana. You can see this in the Dravidian style. So this is Vimana. Till here, from here till here, it is Vimana. On top of Vimana, you have Shikhara. You have Shikhara. On top of Vimana, we have Shikhara. We have Shikhara. So this is a crowning element. So this is the topmost part of the temple. So it is on the top of the temple. So it is octagonal. It is shaped like an octagon, octagonal cupola. Octagonal cupola. So similar to this in case of Nagara style, what we have seen is Kalash. Kalash in case of Nagara style of architecture. But here the most important point which we have to remember is that in case of Dravidian style, you find only one Vimana. In case of Dravidian style, you find only one Vimana. In case of Nagara style, there are multiple Shikharas. You can see multiple Shikharas. These Shikharas are there because on the subsidiary or on the shrines which is there beside the temple also, you can see that there are Shikharas. Okay, so an example for Dravidian style is Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjore in Tamil Nadu. Brihadeshwara temple. So the location is Tamil Nadu in Tanjore, Tamil Nadu. And this was constructed, or this was made by Raja the first. Another example for Dravidian style is Gangaikonda Cholapuram temple. So the son of Raja I, which is Rajendra. So they named the place after conquering the Gangetic Delta to commemorate his victory. So that is why you have Gangai Konda. Konda is victory. Konda means victory. Second one is Vesara style. Second one is Vesara style. So in order to remember Vesara style, you have to remember that it is the combination of Nagara and Dravidian style. It is combination of Nagara and Dravidian style. So which style is a combination of Nagara and Dravidian? It is Vesara style. Vesara style. Next point is it originated in Karnataka. So this trend itself was started by Chalukyas of Badami, who built temples in the style that was the mixture of Nagara style also and Dravidian style also. Later on Rashtrakutas, Chalukyas of Kalyani, etc. and later on Hoysalas also continued that. So these temples can be found in Beluru, Halebeedu, Somnathpura. So these are some of the prime examples of this style. Now, what are the unique features of this? What are the unique features of Vesara style? So the temples which has these walls and pillars, there were a lot of ornamentation. There were a lot of ornamentation of walls of temples and also the pillars of the temples. Also, the towers which Dravidian style had, that also had a lot of ornamentation. And they modified this Dravidian towers by minimizing the height of each story and arranging them in descending order. Then there was the transformation of the Nagara tower as well. That is, instead of having the inclined story, here modifications can be seen in the vertical shape of the tower. And two special features of the Chalukyan temples are Mantapa and pillars. In case of Mantapa, they had two type of roofs. they were of two types of roofs. One was domical ceilings. One was domical ceilings, that is dome like ceilings, and the second one was square like ceilings, square like ceilings. So this was the unique feature. And the second one is pillars. So the miniature decorative pillars of Chalukyan temple stands with its own artistic value. So miniature decorative pillars also. So the famous temples which carries this Vesara styles are Kalleswara temple in Kukkanur, then you have Ramalingeshwara temple in Gudur, then you have Mahadev temple in Itigi, then you have temples in Lakkundi, and you have temples which is Brahmadeva temple in Savadi, etc. So these are some of the examples of the Nagara plus Dravidian style of architecture, which is the style of Vesara, Another most important temples are this Virupaksha temple at Pattadakallu, so which is built in the imitation of Kailashnath temple. So it is a jewel of Chalukyan architecture. Very important for prelims. Very important for prelims. That is Virupaksha temple. So this Virupaksha temple, so it is built in imitation of Kailashnath temple. Okay, and where it is located? It is located in Pattadakal. And this is jewel of Chalukyan architecture. Jewel of Chalukyan architecture. Then you have Rameswaram temple, which is at Ellora, which is built in 7th century, and it was also built during the Chalukyan time period itself. Then you have Durga temple at Aihole, and you have Lad Khan temple, which is at Aihole. They are noteworthy monuments which is built during the Chalukyan time period itself. Next one is Nayaka style. Nayaka style of South India. So the famous example is Meenakshi temple, Madurai Meenakshi temple. Very important. Meenakshi temple in Madurai. So mostly they'll be asking us about the examples of the temple, or they'll mention about the temple, and they'll mention about the style of architecture of that particular temple. Now in this case, all the features of Dravidian styles are present, along with the additional prominent feature, unique feature in this case is the presence of the prominent prakramas. Okay, so these are huge corridors along with the roofed passageway. So in this case, Meenakshi temple was constructed from the initiative of Tirumalai Nayak in 17th century. Okay, in 17th century. Hence it is called as Nayak style. And the last one in case of South Indian architecture which you have to discuss is Vijayanagara art. So Vijayanagara style of architecture. So there are some variations in the Dravidian style in temple architecture. Now in this case, that is, it is similar to that of Dravidian style itself, but here you can see that the gopuram, which is the entrance to the temple, is enlarged. And the walls are very huge. High enclosure walls are there. Then there were more decorations. Okay, there were more decorations. So in other words, we can say that most of these in the South India, they carried the Dravidian style, but some of them also had the influence of the Nagara style, that is from the northern India. So the confluence of northern and southern style was the Vesara style, and some changes to the northern and southern style were the Nayaka style and the Vijayanagara style. Other than these, in the eastern part of India also, there are different types of architectures in the eastern part also and in the western part also. For example, if you see in the Bihar Bengal region, you have Pala school of art, because Pala rulers ruled there. So that was in between 8th to 12th century. Then in Karnataka regions, we had this Rashtrakuta art, that is around 8th century. So they were the successors of Chalukyas, and you can see Elephanta caves, Kailash temple at Ellora, etc. Later we had Hoysala art, which developed in the South Indian region, which is in the Karnataka itself, especially in the Mysore region. Especially in the Mysore region. In case of Hoysala art, one unique feature is the presence of this plan, that is the star plan. The presence of this plan. In all this part, there were shrines. This is called as the stellate plan. Stellate plan. That is, the ground plan itself was known as the stellate. So this was developed in the Mysore region. So this is one of the important characteristic feature of Hoysala art. So these were some of the most important styles which we have discussed in the last part and in this part. In the upcoming revision videos, we'll be discussing about the art and culture related current affairs. At that point of a time, we'll know about these styles in a little more detail as well. So at the end of this e-paper, there are a few multiple choice questions for you to answer. You can attempt those. Thank you. I'll see you soon in the next one.